Hi everyone, it's Igor from Atomic Car Review, and today our video it's short one. It's how to replace fuel pump in kind of emergency situation. My video is not a video about recall issue. My video is how to diagnose and replace fuel pump on the 2011 Dodge Durango. This situation could happen, I would say, with any Durango or Jeep Grand Cherokee from 2011 model years. First of all, let's talk a little bit what's happened, how you can diagnose that your car has problem with the fuel pump. I was kind of lucky guy, and problem with the fuel pump happened on the parking lot next to my house. And in this case, I understand that it would be much easier to bring this car inside the garage. But I'm only one guy over here, and I'm not going to be able to push this car on a hill inside the garage. And I will tell you a little bit about trick how to do this. The trick which I did is kind of part of the diagnostic. By doing it, you understand that your fuel system is not working. To diagnose fuel system issue, you probably better have some easy flammable fluid, for example, like brake fluid, carburetor cleaner fluid, but in best case scenario, if you have something like starting fluid for engine. First of all, how to find out that something wrong with the car? You will feel it. For example, this car, when you try to start on the parking lot, it starts to shake. You understand that something wrong with it, and I would say you even feel that the engine is knocked. It could be two issues. One of them it could be ignition system, another one is fuel system. But we are talking about fuel system. How can we diagnose? First of all, let's say if you have starting fluid. In this case, all what you need to do is just open your air filter. For example, Dodge Durango has just two clips over here, and spray a little bit starting fluid inside of the intake pipe. If it starts after this, it definitely tell you that ignition system is fine, but you don't have fuel in your engine. If you don't have a starting fluid, I would say it's absolutely fine work brake fluid or carburetor cleaner. But in this case, because they less flammable, I would recommend them to spray as much as possible closer to throttle body. For example, the easiest way, if you have, for example, during the road situation, some socket for 8mm unscrew here, or at least if you have screwdriver and take out this pipe. For example, what I did to bring this car inside garage, I just use the brake cleaner, spray all the time brake fluid inside the throttle body when somebody put car inside the garage. That's, for example, how you can move it even from the road on a curve or in some other place. I just little by little, when I see this car start to lose RPM, I just spray it inside the throttle body and let it move. For example, if you don't have any screwdriver or tools, you can take out the sensor. You just need to spin it counterclockwise. You see, it's temperature sensor, and you can spray any of your fluid over here. And that's the way how you can also start your vehicle and at least maybe put inside the garage. Okay, good. Somehow we put our car inside the garage, and right now is the time to diagnose what's really happened with it. It could be two issues. One of them related to recall, but if you have relay like this on your vehicle, it's probably recall is done, and you need to figure out how to diagnose already repaired system. I don't want to explain what to do during the recall situation. It's tons of video online which you can watch. Just in case, I will add in description of this video some link which you can see, check and see what to do if you don't have, for example, fixed recall, and you can bypass the broken relay. We are talking about how to diagnose if this relay is broken. I understand that what I'm gonna tell you right now is not really professional, but we are talking about kind of emergency situation. First, how you can check your relay, it's, for example, you hold your relay by hand and somebody try to start your vehicle. If you hear by let's say touching this relay that something is clicking inside, it sounds more like relay is working. Of course, if you do not trust how you touch this relay, you can diagnose it by putting some, let's say, used relay or new one, which you can purchase. Price usually for this relay around $20 in some store like AutoZone or any other store. But you can also bypass it by locked two contacts. It's this one, usually blue one and white one. If you attach one to another, your relay kind of working. But usually, again, guys, if it's clicking, it means usually it's working. In case For example, if your relay is broken, all what you need to do is just connect contact number 87 with contact number 30. You can use something like paper clip or some piece of wire and connect one to each other and let your car be drivable. If recall was done on your vehicle, it's usually no chances to somehow bypass your relay, which let's say welded to this block, which usually is supposed to be done by recall recommendation. In this case, it's almost no chance to do it because sometimes they just cut it wiring under the relay and attach it directly to wires which goes to fuel pump. For example, you see they did it over here. They attach blue wire from relay to blue and orange wire which going directly to fuel pump. Okay guys, we find out that relay is working, and next step which you need to check is probably you need to check connection to the fuel pump which is located under the seat. To check if your fuel pump is working, one of the easiest way is try to find out if you hear any noise from fuel pump engine. To check it, it's better if you have helper, but if you don't have it, I would say you can do this even by yourself. You need to hear the noise from fuel pump, and the way how you can do this is just press your ignition button and try to be as much as possible closer to fuel tank, which is located under the rear seats. First of all, for example, if you have helper, you can stay over here and try to hear if you have any noise. Or for example, if you're inside on top of the rear seat, you also can try to hear if you hear any noise. But if you don't, you need to check the connection to fuel pump. Right now, let's talk a little bit about harder part. To check connections with the fuel pump, you need to take out your rear seat or drop out your fuel tank, which is kind of complicated. Again, we are talking about emergency situation when you don't have lift, or for example, your vehicle somewhere from Massachusetts and all nuts is very rusty and you're unable to unscrew them. In this case, probably you will better to do something way like I did it. To remove your rear seat, you need to unscrew two bolts, which is located over here, and they cover by this cup on the bottom of the seat, and two nuts, which is located here, one here, one here. Also, you need to remove bolt which hold your left seat belt for second row passenger, and after removing the rear seat, you would be able to diagnose harness which going to fuel pump. To have accessibility to take all these bolts out, you need to take first of all these covers out. They're located here on each side of the car, and also you need to take out this plastic cover which cover all harness which goes directly to fuel pump. Right now we need to diagnose if a fuel pump has power, and all harness which going from your fuse box is located over here in this bunch of wires. You need to find big blue wire with a orange stripe. It's this one. And when again the same procedure, when somebody presses the ignition button on your dashboard, you need to check if you have positive contact or on this wire. You can do this with the same power probe tool. You can do this with, for example, your electric tester. You can do this, for example, with just regular light, bulb with two wires. Power probe tools allow you to bring, for example, positive or negative contact where you need it, and it has kind of sharp point. That's why it's easy to do. You can, for example, make even hole in a wire and check what kind of connection it has. It also, for example, if you attach it to, you see to somewhere to your body, show it has negative contact. If you attach it, for example, to battery to positive, it shows you that it has positive contact. Also, you can even set up that it's gonna make some noise. The same kind of procedure you can do with any regular electric tester, not a problem. Don't forget that if you want to check if your fuel pump has power, the computer sends power to fuel pump only for first couple seconds when you press ignition button. For example, if you press ignition button and then went on your back seat and try to test if it has power, you're not gonna see anything. You're supposed to do this in the same time when somebody press your ignition button. Okay guys, we found out that fuel pump has power. That means that could be two reasons right now, or fuel pump itself, which is kind of we see that more and more that this is a problem because it's no noise, relay is fine, and power is here. Or the fuel pump lost contact somewhere underneath of the fuel tank. To check this, of course, you can drop fuel tank, but we are not about this. We need to make access to fuel pump. I would show you the most efficient way how you can do this. For example, to do this, all what I did is I just found this kind of circle. It's 8-inch circle, and I locate it over here and just put with a Sharpie marker and cut it. To cut it, I use drill. First of all, drill it here, and then use regular metal cutter. But guys, please don't use any stuff which can make sparkles. Use the cold saw cutting, and when, for example, I use my tools, I put even 2 fingers underneath of the cutter to not destroy the fuel tank, because fuel tank is made from plastic and you can make hole inside of it if you're not going to be very accurate. This procedure is one of the most dangerous, and you're supposed to be very accurate. Most of the time when I cut this hole, let's say hole, I hold it please behind the saw like couple fingers, just to have more distance, to be, like, say, more on the safe side and don't do any hole in your fuel tank. The same story with a drilling hole. To put this saw, I also left just 1 inch of the drill bit just to be on the safe side. Also, do not make hole. To understand better where you need to do this, for example, you can use any roller, and I did it exactly as on a video from one guy. I put from here to this spot around 2.5 inches. That's probably from this line until this line. You can do also even 3, or here I make hole, and then I start to cut it by saw. I did only a little bit opposite way. I left some space here because you don't need it, because your fuel pump, to be honest, only 7-inch wide, and you don't need really big hole. And I left little bit piece of metal over here to be able to bend it and to use it as a cover to open and close after it. Also try to be a little bit more far away from this spot, because this has like welding spot from other metal, and to cut it, it would be more harder work. That's why you see this line, I did it before this welding spot. Okay, and that's how it looks underneath. That's our fuel pump. You need to be really careful, because distance it's around 2 inch from metal spot from your floor to fuel tank, you see? That's why you need to be like more careful with drill bit and more careful with your saw. When you're gonna do like cutting, please be careful in this spot. For example, it's around between 5 and 6 inches spot. It's where your fuel line, and if you measure like this, it's around, let's say, between 7 and 8 inches. It's where your harness going to your fuel pump. The rest procedure, I'm not gonna really tell you a lot about this. You can see during the other video. But to take out your fuel pump, all what you need to do, or you need just nice and, to be honest, long screwdriver to put mostly this way under this line and hit it by hammer, and then you're gonna twist this ring. But I would recommend, guys, if you already understand that you would replace your fuel pump, just buy a special tool. It costs usually around $18–25 on Amazon, and in this case it would be much more comfortable to work with fuel pump. To take out fuel pump, you need to take this harness out. You need to move this red clip on the right side, press this clip here and take it out. The same story with the clip for fuel line. You press it and you remove it. Be careful, the fuel pump is connected to other fuel line which moves here. It's also 2 clips you can see in the video, which I'm gonna attach to our video. You can press it and take it out. Fuel pump itself cost, I bought it on Amazon for around 47 bucks. Original one cost from Mopar around $450. If you need some local suppliers, usually from Amazon, or not Amazon, AutoZone, around $200. The last point where you need to check your harness, it's on this connector over here. You need to take out and check if you have power. Again, the same time when you just press ignition, it's connector number 1 over here. It's red white wire with a white stripe, and if you have on this black one ground. These 2 wires which you need to check. If you have power here, it's definitely your fuel pump and you need to replace it. After replacement of the fuel pump, everything is working. Possible that you will need it to reset the check engine light because it probably would be on, but even if you don't have the tool how to do that, which can do this, don't worry, it's gonna be off after some mileage. How to fix this part? I think I would recommend the best way is to put fiberglass on it, but because it's $47 fuel pump, I would better put something like silicone here for my car itself, and install back seats, and everything is supposed to be done. Here's how everything looks when it's completed. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you like it and I hope it was helpful. Please subscribe to our channel and see you during our next review.